I never used to worry when Claire said she was going out with her friends. We'd been married for 7 years, and trust was the quiet rhythm that kept our house together. Lately, though, that rhythm had started to skip beats. She laughed a little too hard at her phone, guarded her screen when I passed, and always seemed distracted when I spoke. I told myself it was stress, maybe work, but something deep inside me started to whisper that I wasn't part of her world anymore. When she mentioned the girls' only night out, it felt rehearsed, like she'd practiced the line. "Just wine and dancing," she said, giving me a quick kiss on the cheek. I smiled back, pretending not to notice that her perfume was stronger than usual, and that she'd changed her earrings twice before leaving. After she left, the house felt heavier than silence. I sat on the couch staring at the muted TV, trying to convince myself that everything was fine. But an unease grew like smoke in my chest. I wasn't angry yet, just tired of guessing what I meant to the woman I married. I didn't follow her. That's not who I am. But life has a strange way of showing you the truth when you stop looking. Around midnight, my friend Aaron texted me a photo from a downtown bar. "Isn't this Claire?" he wrote. In the picture, she wasn't alone. A man's hand rested on her back, too familiar to be accidental. She was laughing, head tilted, eyes bright, the same way she used to laugh with me. My first instinct was disbelief. Maybe it was just a bad angle, a joke, a misunderstanding. But denial only lasts until you breathe again. I felt something inside me break, quiet and final, like a door closing that you can never reopen. When she came home, it was nearly 2 a.m. Her lipstick had faded, but the guilt hadn't. She looked at me like I was supposed to be asleep. "You're still up?" she asked, voice careful. I nodded. "Did you have fun?" She hesitated, then smiled too quickly. "Yeah, just the girls, you know." I held her gaze. "I know." That's when I decided my payback wouldn't be about shouting or vengeance. It would be clarity, the kind that leaves no space for lies. The next morning, I acted normal. I made breakfast, kissed her forehead, and went to work. At lunch, I stopped by the bank. Every joint account we had, I moved half to a new one in my name. I canceled the credit card she mostly used and scheduled a meeting with a lawyer, just to understand my options, not to start a war. When I got home, I placed the printed photo on the kitchen table. Nothing else, just that single page waiting for her to find it. That evening, she came home early. I was in the living room when I heard her gasp. She picked up the photo and froze. "Where did you get this?" "A friend," I said quietly. "It's not what it looks like," she stammered. "Then tell me what it is." She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again, but no truth came out. Only silence. In that moment, the pain shifted. It wasn't sharp anymore. It was clean, like the air after a storm. I realized I wasn't losing her. I had already lost her months ago when laughter became secrets. She started to cry, saying she'd had too much to drink, that nothing happened. Maybe she believed that. Maybe she didn't. But I'd reached a point where proving details didn't matter. Betrayal doesn't always start in a hotel room. Sometimes it begins with a lie told just to keep the evening comfortable. I told her I needed space and packed a bag. She followed me to the door, pleading, promising, swearing it meant nothing. I listened without interrupting. Then I said, "You went out to feel free. I'm giving you that freedom for real." For the next week, I stayed with Erin. I didn't text her, didn't call. The silence between us became its own kind of answer. On the 5th day, I returned home to pick up more clothes. The house looked different. Tidy, polished, as if she could scrub away what had happened. She was sitting at the table, the same spot where the photo had been. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "So did I said. "I believed we were still us." She tried to explain, saying she'd felt invisible, that the night out was a stupid attempt to feel wanted. I understood that kind of loneliness, but it didn't excuse the lie. I told her I wasn't angry, just done pretending we were fine. That was my payback. Not revenge, not cruelty, just walking away with the dignity she'd forgotten I had. Months passed. I focused on work, picked up running again, reconnected with friends I'd lost to our quiet distance. Every now and then I'd get a message from Claire, short, regretful lines. "I miss you. I wish I'd stayed home that night." I never replied. Some conversations end even before the words do. One evening, while jogging through the park, I saw a couple laughing by the fountain. The way she looked at him, open, genuine, unguarded, reminded me of how Claire once looked at me. For a moment, sadness tried to settle in, but it didn't stick. Instead, I felt grateful. Pain had stripped away illusions and left something purer: self-respect. Later that night, I sat on my porch and watched the city lights flicker. I realized payback isn't about making someone else hurt. It's about refusing to carry their choices on your shoulders anymore. Claire regretted that night, not because of what she lost, but because she finally saw what she'd thrown away. I didn't need to remind her. Regret has a louder voice than revenge ever could. I closed my eyes and let the cool air wash over me. Somewhere out there, she was probably replaying that night in her mind, wishing she could rewrite it. But the truth is, some stories end the moment someone decides they deserve better. And that's okay, because sometimes the most powerful payback is simply peace.